Hi, I'm Councilmember Jason Lyon. Welcome to the second of our virtual town halls on the Eaton Fire and disaster recovery updates. We'll be having these town hall meetings every Friday at 12:30 p.m. throughout the month of February, so join us right here every week. You know, the Eaton Fire was obviously devastating for our community. But if there was any silver lining at all, it was the reminder of what a resilient and kind and generous community we are. I saw neighbors helping neighbors and neighbors helping strangers with donations of food and money and clothing and places to stay and rides to appointments, and it was incredibly heartwarming. It was also a reminder of what an incredible and amazing city staff we have. To a person, our staff worked tirelessly throughout the emergency to make sure that Pasadena residents had everything they need. And now, as we turn our attention to the recovery phase, they're still doing that. That's what these virtual town hall meetings are all about. So today, we'll be hearing from 4 city departments: the Department of Planning, Health, the City Attorney, and the Rent Stabilization Department, to give you the latest information that you'll need in the recovery period. And to kick things off, we'll start with Director Jennifer Page from the City Planning Department.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Page, the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Pasadena. Today I want to provide some information on the private property debris removal program, as well as some of the recovery efforts that are currently underway. There's a map online that's available to you that shows where all of the destroyed properties are within the City of Pasadena. This map can be accessed from our webpage, from the Planning Department webpage. Many of you have been hearing about the private property debris removal program. There are 2 phases of this, and it's already underway. Phase 1 is the removal of household hazardous wastes and materials such as lithium batteries, paint, pesticides, or fertilizers. Given these are hazardous materials, this work is being done by the Environmental Protection Agency, and it's mandatory work that they are undertaking. Work is conducted at each site in small teams. The materials are encapsulated and they are being transported to a centralized site that is outside of the city, and the work is being done with small stake bed trucks. The EPA has shared that they estimate a timeline of approximately 30 days to complete phase 1. The second phase is the removal of the remaining debris. Each property that was destroyed by the fire is eligible for a no-cost debris removal program that is a federal program. The Army Corps of Engineers will remove debris from the site if a property owner chooses to use this program. It's important to note that eligible property owners must opt into this program. The debris is not automatically removed like it is in phase 1. We do have staff available that will assist property owners in completing the necessary forms for the opt-in program, and the deadline for applications is March 31st. For those that will choose to remove debris on their own, a permit will be required by the city, and the site must meet the same stringent standards for cleanup as the federal program, and this will be done at the owner's expense. An opt-out form is required for those that choose not to utilize the federal program. I want to emphasize that we know that there are a lot of questions about debris removal, and the details of the phase 2 are still being finalized. We will be providing information to the community regularly. We know this is important to the entire community. The Planning Department is available to answer questions related to the debris removal program. Please visit the Planning Department website for more information. After the debris is removed from our affected sites, the rebuilding can begin. I also wanted to highlight some of the key efforts we are working on related to the recovery. The first area is related to fire damaged sites. For these sites, we are offering several different programs. The first is dedicated staff for each fire damaged property. This is to be able to assist them through permitting and rebuilding questions, as well as questions related to the private property debris removal program. We're offering assistance in completing the right of entry forms for the private property debris removal program. We're offering virtual consultations for building and planning staff, because we know that many of our residents are currently displaced and they may have a hard time coming into the city. Virtual consultations can be scheduled online through the Planning Department webpage. We're offering expedited building plan check and next day building inspections for these fire damaged sites when the residents are in a position to be able to submit for plan check. We're also looking at relief from certain zoning code requirements in the zoning code to be able to assist in the rebuilding of these sites. The last effort that we're looking at is citywide. We know that there's impacts to the city and to the region as a result of this fire. And what we're looking at citywide is we have temporary approvals and processes in place for displaced schools, religious facilities, and child care centers. We already have standard plans online and available for ADUs. If someone's interested in these standard plans, they can visit our website and look at the gallery that we have available. We're also going to be looking at a pre-approved standard plan program for single-family homes, and that work is currently underway, and we'll provide updates as that becomes developed. We're also prioritizing the production of residential units throughout the city. We know that that's going to become a key area for the entire region. And we're looking at expediting building plan review and also expediting building inspections for anybody who wants to build residential units of any type in the city. In conclusion, I want to say that our hearts go out to all of those that were impacted by this disaster. We are here as a partner to work with you and to make this process as easy as it is for you and your families. With that, I would like to hand over the next part of the presentation to Manuel Carmona, who is the Director of Public Health.
Good afternoon. I'm Manuel Carmona, the Director of Public Health for the City of Pasadena. I recognize that there is widespread community concern about the environmental impacts of wildfire and risk to health. The Pasadena Public Health Department staff continues to review research and reports from other large U.S. fires to understand potential threats to public health in Pasadena. The Eaton Fire was an unprecedented wildland-urban interface fire, and due to the nature and scope of the fire, it has been a challenge to find direct parallels from prior fires that would help guide the development of an effective approach in our region. One challenge is we lack local data, making it difficult to assess the potential threat to health of residents. To get a better assessment, Pasadena Public Health Department staff are taking steps to test city facilities selected strategically across the city. The data collected from these facilities will help my team assess if the heightened community concern is warranted and determine what, if any, additional steps should be considered. There is urgency to this work, but I also know that we have to be methodical to ensure any results from these tests are credible, easy to interpret, and helpful to future decision-making. Until more data is available, Pasadena Public Health Department staff continue to work with regional, state, and local federal partners to develop a regional approach with guidance to reduce risk of potential exposure to wildfire contaminants. I encourage everyone to follow Pasadena Public Health Department guidance and use their discretion to protect themselves against any potential exposure. Since the start of the Eaton fire, Pasadena Public Health Department staff have had several discussions with air quality and air testing experts. We have learned that the immediate risk to public health posed by wildfire smoke has eased as air quality has improved. One of the measures offered by the Air Quality Index is particulate matter 2.5, or PM 2.5, which measures airborne particulates 2.5 microns or larger. This measurement is helpful for assessing the potential presence of wildfire contaminants. When air quality is good, PM 2.5 measurements are low, indicating it is safer for everyone to be outdoors. When air quality is unhealthy, higher PM 2.5 measurements indicate high levels of airborne particulates, and it is possible for wildfire contaminants to be among them. During days with poor air quality, everyone should take precautions such as avoiding vigorous physical activity, wearing a tight-fitting mask when outdoors, or simply remaining indoors. Today, the AQI is moderate, which means everyone should use their best judgment when outdoors. Air quality fluctuates throughout the day, so monitoring the AQI daily is helpful to informing your decision-making. AQI data is available at the Air Quality Management District and Purple Air websites. With the recent rain, any potential airborne wildfire contaminants are expected to have settled on the ground. It is important for everyone to avoid disrupting dust and ash that has settled in gutters, sidewalks, or other improved or unimproved surfaces throughout the community to prevent recasting these particles back into the air. The temporary leaf blower ban remains in effect to protect the health and well-being of the community until a broader assessment of potential health risks can be completed. The ban will remain in place until it can be reasonably expected that their use will not negatively impact the lives, health, safety, or well-being of our residents. For residents returning to homes not directly damaged by fire, there are ways to effectively reduce your risk of exposure to potential contaminants that may have entered your home. It is important to clean your home to remove any ash, soot, or debris before returning. When cleaning, you should wear a tight-fitting mask such as an N95 or P100, long sleeves and pants. N95 respirators are available at many Pasadena libraries and community centers. If the smell or smoke or chemicals linger, open your windows when air quality is good. Turn on your HVAC system and use an air purifier. If you need support, you may request FEMA assistance to access a $300 subsidy for cleaning. When considering an air purifier, ensure it is one recommended by the California Air Resources Board. Listen to your body and consult a professional to assess your home if you feel any physical response, such as scratchy throat, watery eyes, or irritated skin. Use the air quality index data as a guide for when it is safer to go outside. I hope this information is helpful to you. I encourage you to take precautions outlined in Pasadena Public Health Department guidance to reduce the risk of exposure to potential contaminants until a better understanding of health risks can be achieved. In this final slide, you will find links to websites referenced in my presentation. And with that, I will hand it over to Tim Wellman, Chief Assistant City Prosecutor for the City of Pasadena.
Imagine that your home has been damaged or destroyed by the fires and that you need temporary housing. You look at an apartment, but realize that the price being charged is twice what it was just before the fires. Imagine that you go to submit a FEMA claim that you are told that a claim was already submitted by somebody else who was impersonating you. Imagine that someone contacts you pretending to be a contractor and promises to do work if you just pay all the money up front. These are not just imaginary risks. These are actual crimes that have been committed against victims who are already suffering. Unfortunately, disasters bring out scammers and those who would do us harm. So what can be done? Let's discuss. My name is Tim Wellman, and I am Pasadena's Chief Assistant City Prosecutor. The Prosecution Division of the Pasadena City Attorney City Prosecutor's Office represents the people of the state of California, and more particularly, the community in all adult misdemeanor criminal offenses that are committed in the city of Pasadena. We do not handle felony cases or crimes committed by juveniles. Those types of cases are handled by the District Attorney's Office. The Prosecution Division is responsible for reviewing crime reports, deciding whether to file criminal charges in matters that are referred to us by law enforcement agencies, and if charges are to be filed, determining what charges to file. Prosecutors appear in court for all stages of a criminal case, from arraignment through disposition, including any trial and any appeal. Our office also has a victim witness advocate who helps support our victims and witnesses. We receive nearly 90% of our cases from the Pasadena Police Department, but we have also received case referrals from up to 20 other law enforcement agencies and city departments. We work together in seeking to build and maintain a safer community. Our community and our friends in other communities in the county have suffered tremendous loss. That loss and the stress and the suffering and the trauma that goes along with it should not be compounded by criminal activity. And yet there are those who seek to profit off the pain of others. This will not be tolerated. Those who commit crimes will be prosecuted. So what are some of the crimes to be concerned about during and after an emergency? In addition to crimes that occur regardless of whether there's a declaration of an emergency or not, such as burglary or theft or trespassing, one particular crime to be aware of that can occur after the declaration of a state of emergency is price gouging. Price gouging is when a seller, contractor, landlord, or individual raises the price of housing, goods, or services more than 10% after the declaration of a state of emergency. The majority of complaints that we have seen about this relates to rental listings. The City Prosecutor's Office has developed partnerships with other prosecutorial agencies and is a member of the Los Angeles County Price Gouging Joint Task Force Critical Fires. Price gouging is a misdemeanor. Penalties can include up to 1 year imprisonment in county jail and/or a fine of up to $10,000. Violators are also subject to civil penalties, including up to $2,500 per violation, injunctive relief, and mandatory restitution. Contracting without a license is always a crime, but doing it during a state of emergency can be a felony. Please watch out for anyone offering construction services and verify their contractor's license with the State Contractors Licensing Board. False impersonation of emergency or utility personnel is a crime. Verify someone's identity, and when in doubt, call the department to confirm that the person is who they say they are. Be aware of false representations from those soliciting charitable donations. Be aware of insurance fraud, including the offering of services with the intent to defraud through insurance claims. Be aware of financial elder abuse. All contracts, agreements, and written estimates should be carefully reviewed before any work begins. Use available resources for advice and assistance. If you suspect that you have been the victim of or attempted victim of a crime in the city of Pasadena, then please report it to the Pasadena Police Department. In conclusion, be aware of fraud, be vigilant, be alert, verify, report all crimes and attempted crimes, and please assist the police and prosecutors in prosecuting the case so that we can make sure that the perpetrators are held accountable. Thank you, and I will pass it along to Helen Morales, Pasadena's Director of Rent Stabilization.
Good afternoon. My name is Helen Morales, and I'm the Director of Rent Stabilization. And I'm here today to inform you of the advantages that you have and obligations that the owners have regarding Measure H. So one most important thing that we want renters to know today is that you are protected from just cause evictions. And so there are only 11 reasons under Charter Article 18 that you are allowed to be evicted: failure to pay rent, breach of lease, nuisance, illegal purpose, refusal to execute a new lease, failure to give access, subtenant in sole possession, necessary and substantial repairs requiring temporary vacancy, owner move-in, withdrawal of units permanently from the rental market known as Ellis Act, or governmental order. I want to be clear that in the numbers 8 through 11, necessary for substantial repairs, owner move-in, withdrawal units in Ellis Act and governmental order requires relocation benefits and the first right of refusal to return to the unit once the unit is in good order. In addition, the Pasadena Measure H Charter Article 18 limits rent increases to once every 12 months within a 30-day period, and the annual rent increase effective October 1st, 2024 is at most 3%. Rent increase is prohibited if the property owner is not in compliance with Charter Article 18. A rent increase is also prohibited if a landlord has failed to maintain the rental unit in a habitable condition or failed to make repairs ordered by the rent board or the city of Pasadena. Anti-harassment protections are also provided for in Charter Article 18. Landlords cannot harass or retaliate against tenants for exercising their legal rights, including participation in tenant advocacy activities. Such retaliation is also a defense in an eviction proceeding. So we want you to know here, our team at the Rent Stabilization Department, that we're here for you and that you are protected under the Charter Article 18 and that we are here to enforce all of the Charter Article regulations. So please contact us at 626-744-7999 if you have a concern. And you can also reach us at these locations listed on our site here. Again, I thank you for your time, and we want you to know that we are here to help all renters and prospective renters in the city of Pasadena. And now I'll introduce Lisa Dudarian.
Good afternoon. I'm Lisa Dudarian, City Public Information Officer. We want to thank you for joining us today. Please note that we will be doing this every Friday through February 28th at 12:30, and then we will have it on our website, on our social media, and please go to cityofpasadena.net for the latest information on the Eaton fire. And if there's any questions you have, please call our City Service Center at 626-744-7311. And we thank you for joining us today.